Hi, welcome back to JoanneTechLover. I'm Joanne, and today I have a really cool item. This is a keypad, so it's not a full keyboard, but it's like a keypad you use for like macros and like all that good stuff. So this is the Razer Tartarus Expert Gaming Keypad. And what I love about it is, well, I tried it out for like many hours on WoW because, you know, I just meant to try it for like a couple hours and then I just ended up playing WoW for like ever. But anyway, I really got to use it. I was a bit skeptical at first because this is the first keypad that I actually really tried out, and I have to admit I love it. I went ahead and just ordered one because it's like around 65 bucks, so it's totally worth it, especially since my K70 is not fully programmable or really programmable, so it's perfect for like the macros that I need for this hand, and I got my G600 in my right hand. Alrighty, so what do you get in the box? You get some, a couple Razer badges or, you know, stickers, stick them on your case, whatever you want. And you also get this, congratulations, there is no turning back. Every single Razer product has this piece of paper. Alrighty, and then you get the quick start guide. So let's take a quick look inside. Tells you to register for the Synapse 2.0 software. It's the cloud-based software for storing your macros and everything. So you do need the software in order to program macros and be able to use it and all that good stuff. And how to plug it in, how to change the wrist rest positioning, and so on and so forth. So why don't we go ahead and take a closer look at the keypad. This keypad comes with this cloth braided cable, so you know it's durable, good quality. Whenever I see this, I love it. Not easy to kink or, you know, bunch up or anything like that. And you also get, I believe, USB 2.0 connector. You get about 6 feet of this cable. That's pretty standard, I'd say. And now onto the actual keypad. Let's start with measurements first. It measures 153 millimeters wide by 186 millimeters tall by 54.8 millimeters deep. And if you want the inch measurements for us US folk, 6.3 inches wide by 7.32 inches tall and 2.16 inches deep. And for the weight, it's very light at only 0.66 pounds, and that's because I believe most of it is this plastic material, but it's not like a cheap plastic. It's rather thick, and it's a decent quality, I would say. And the keys up here, as well as the wrist rest, has this kind of like soft touch finish. I mean, it's also matte, so you see my fingerprints just kind of disappears, which I really like, especially during like heavy sweating sessions when you're in game. You're like, oh my god, battleground. Okay. But I really adored this. Like I said, I got to try it for many hours, and before this I thought, I don't need this, I have my keyboard. But then I'm like, I need this. Now I'm like, I need this now. But mainly because it's fully programmable, and right now my own keyboard is not. So this is a really like kind of like very inexpensive alternative to like a programmable keyboard. Anyway, what else did I want to say about it? It comes with 25 programmable buttons. You get 15 up here. And yes, it does use the Synapse 2.0 software, but we got the issue fixed about how we couldn't record video, and I'll show you in a bit. And let's see the other ones, shall we? I'm going to go ahead and turn this on to the side right here. So this is on default your spacebar to jump in, all that. But since this is kind of large for my hands, if I place my hands on it like this, and I try to reach for the spacebar, it's very awkward for me. So I went ahead and I keybound this key to be my space jump key. Now that would be 15, 16, 17 keys, and then there are 8 here. Now on the thumb wheel, there are 8 positions. However, I would not recommend this as move. I tried it and it's like, no, because it's like trying to recognize, oh, this is, you know, D, and this is A, and this is S, and this is W. Like the arrow you'll see is the up key, so you'll know like which direction, but I would use this as only to switch between your key maps. So this is really useful to do that, because it's really hard to get to the 2, 4, and 6, and 8, you know, basically. So moving along from there, you'll know which key map you're on. Basically, it's like the key profiles within your single profile through these LEDs. Like they will change color, or you'll see 2 of them on, or all of them on, or none of them on. And you'll know what I mean once I take you into the software. Now let's take a look at the back of this. Got some prints on there. Yeah. Okay, anyway, you get some large gliding, I'm sorry, these are not gliding feet. These are rubberized feet so that this unit does stay in place when you place it on your desk. And I have to admit, it doesn't really shift around, so that is a good thing. But of course, I don't have that much force in my hand, but I would say it is pretty darn stable. And just to show you how my hand fits on there, so the WASD keys, these are the default, and the other default keys, such as, I believe, C and V, and then there's a R up here, and, you know, just like your regular keypad, except these are in different colors, and it does light up, so I will plug it in. But there is something else I wanted to show you. Yes, the adjustable wrist rest. Now, if you have larger hands, just press this little plastic piece in and stretch it. Did you see that? So press the plastic piece in, and extend. And basically, obviously, this is the best for me. So like, as for future models, I would kind of like it if they made it just slightly smaller, or at least this thumb panel here. And but otherwise, I don't really have any complaints for the price. I mean, it's pretty awesome little unit, I have to say. I set this keypad to pulse. There's also a static mode. Now, why did I do this? Is because, you know, it's completely dependent on the software, which I don't really like. Wish it had some onboard memory. But you have to go into the software in order to change the lighting from static to pulsing. And this looks nice anyway, and you get to really see the colors as they fade into black. Now, I would like to show you this LED section here, but, you know, you gotta have the software, and it's really not all that important, as I will show you when we go into the software itself. Now, a little bit more about this keyboard is that you get full anti-ghosting, meaning you can press down any number of keys and it should register those strokes. Now, when I click into it, just listen. Now, this is a membrane keyboard. However, the switches I do like. It's not typical of a rubber dome keyboard. They're clicky. You know, these are silicone dome switches. So they do feel decent underneath my hands. I mean, I don't really have any complaints. It's not all mushy feeling. Now let's take a look at the software. Alrighty, yay, it is time for the software, and this time I can actually show you as a video, yes. And how do you do that? I actually kind of want to bring up OBS and show you, so you might as well learn. So inside the monitor capture, just go into here and click on capture layered windows, and it will capture Razer's cloud software. So that is pretty awesome. Let's go ahead and hide this now. Okie dokie. Well then, so of course, you have the keypad where you can customize each individual key, and then let's go into lighting first. So you got the pulsate, and then you can click just static. Here's the brightness. By the way, the brightness that you saw in the video was the brightest. And of course, you could go to dim and then off entirely. Of course, with pulsate, it goes from bright to off anyway, so that's why I showed it to you in that mode. I'll switch all device lighting to off when display is turned on. Alrighty, there's that, and there's macros. So I would recommend making macros in this section before adding it to the keypad, because it's just easier that way. Because if you wanted to delete it, you have to go here anyway. But you could do either, and there's this little add-on section here as well. I might as well show you some of the gear icons, you know, for updates, submit feedback. There's also the, looks like the context button here, and software is up to date. We are golden. Let's continue on to the customization, shall we? So as for the profiles, I've created Joanne Tartarus, or Joanne's Tartarus. Okay, new and profile 3. And to add a new profile, simply click add. And let's say we want to call this, what do we call this? Like heaven or something. That's the only thing I can think of right now, and it's saved. You don't need to like press enter or anything. See, it's saved. So Tartarus to heaven. There we go. Now let's go back to Joanne's Tartarus, and this is still in lighting. Let's go to customize. Now in the customize menu, by the way, you could delete profiles this way too. For example, let's first delete a profile, shall we? Let's go to heaven and let's delete, yes. And there's also this icon here. We can copy, import, or export, and link program. So you can link to certain games that you play and all that good stuff. But let's go ahead and take a look at this keyboard, or keypad. Now the key maps are on the right, so you know which key map you are on when you are setting the macros or functions that you might have. So key map 1 is that color, and then it's green. Please look in this area as I go down the key map so you'll know exactly which key map you are on. And then nothing. So we'll go back to 1, and this is where I already set a couple macros. I just put 7 and 8 because I tested it on both the advanced mage that I have and the frost and the level 30 some frost mage that I have, and I just needed these buttons to be set as a macro. And if you want to assign a different button assignment, just go here, go to default, keyboard function, mouse function, macro, switch key map, meaning switch to 1, 2, 8, 7. You could set certain buttons to do that. Or switch profile and launch program, all that good stuff, or even disable the button, which might be pretty useful to some of you. You could choose to play once or multiple times. You know, I actually do like the software now that I've been using it. It's just could be a little more user-friendly, but once you learn it, you know it. So, by the way, like I said, you can add a new macro here. So let's say you want to name it. By the way, if you want to rename it, I don't think you can do it in here anymore. You have to go into the macro section. So we're going to name it what? Ooga Booga, because I don't know anything else at the moment. That is what came into my mind. So we're going to record, and then we're just going to do a standard QWERTY and stop. Save. Okay, save this there. Wonderful. Alrighty, and then we're gonna pick this button here and choose macro and then go to Ooga Booga. Okay, and then we're going to save it. There we go. So once you do that, I'm gonna go ahead and bring up this notepad. Now, oh, you know, I should have typed Ooga Booga. But anyway, so I'm going to press that letter and it will spell out QWERTY. Yay! But this is not a QWERTY. I'm sorry, I just didn't know what else to do. Now, when you want to delete a macro, you'll notice that you cannot change the name here or anything like that. You'll have to go into the macro section, go into the individual macro, the Ooga Booga, and then go ahead and trash that. There you go. And it's as easy as 1, 2, 3. And if you want to record delays, you could do default delay, whichever one that you prefer, because, you know, certain spells have certain delay times, and having to figure that out is kind of annoying. So, or no delay. I just click delay, and I believe it's however long you do delay it, I believe. And you could also, you know, record here, like I said, you know, add, record, and all that good stuff. And let's go ahead and go back to the keypad. And I want to show you the side view. So I have this set to, actually you could use it as directional buttons, or you could set it to the 8 button panel. Now when you do that, you could set different macros to it, for example, or different keyboard functions, but I found that it's kind of hard to access, like I said, like any of these buttons that are kind of like off to the left and to the right and to the bottom. It's just a little bit awkward, and I might end up like pressing the wrong thing, but I'm just going to show you. So we're going to save it to this, and I'm going to move the thumb pad, and that's how it is. So moving through it is easy, but if I want something specific like what, it's just difficult, and you know exactly what I mean. And then these 2 buttons that you could set to, I set to space bar, and this key default is space, but you know, I could set it to disable or something like that. But I normally don't even reach it when I'm playing, or if I do, it's like I said, a really awkward claw grip. And I'm gonna go ahead and cancel out of that. And I believe that's all there is to show you about the software. Let's go back to the top view, and there you have it, folks. It's time for pros and cons. So what I like about it is that, well, first, the price. It is relatively inexpensive, especially compared to the Orb Weaver, which is another Razer keypad, and that one has mechanical switches, but this is silicone dome switches, and it's fine because the clicky feeling feels just fine to me, honestly. I don't really have any real complaints. And for the price, I'll take it. And I absolutely loved how I suddenly needed to have this in my life after not even caring about it prior. But I also really love the soft touch finish here on the wrist rest, as well as the palm rest, as well as the keys here. Now the Orb Weaver has an extra set, but I don't actually really need that, because when I have my palm positioned on here, it's kind of difficult to reach these another top row, that is. Would have liked that maybe they made this like thumb panel area a little bit smaller maybe, and so that like I'll be able to reach at least this button easily, and this thumb panel button with the 8 buttons on there. It's kind of hard to, know exactly which one you're on unless you're looking at maybe the colors here, but that's for like key map switching and all that. But it's just hard to set like move to that, at least for, WoW. What else? Would have liked to see maybe a metal finish on this piece here, or this entire area, more matte finish all around, and maybe brighter LEDs, because I know it's not per key illumination, that's why it's not as bright, but that would be nice actually, a really nice feature. I do like the braided cable, and what else? Oh, the wrist rest is adjustable. However, like I said, I would like to see a smaller model of this, for me hands. But for now, I'm not complaining. So that's it for the pros and cons. Well, that wraps it up for this video on the Razer Tartarus Expert Gaming Keypad. I really hope you enjoyed this video, found it useful, and maybe learned a thing or two, or I could learn a thing from you guys. I mean, it's a really nice interaction circle we've got going on. Really appreciate you guys, by the way. And if you like what you saw, you want to see more, please hit the subscribe button, the like, and comment, because I love hearing what you have to say. And then usually I'm like, oh, also, please follow me on social media. Facebook is JoanneTechLover. Twitter is JoanneFoodLover, and I game stream with Tim weekly on twitch.tv/WhaleTune. Our game of choice is World of Warcraft, but we do play other games. But right now, that's like really the only game I have time for. When I test products, when I, just have free time, I'm playing that game. I've learned so much. But anyway, you want to know a really funny story, actually? I get really impatient because World of Warcraft, I don't have journeyman writing it on my new Frost Mage. And basically, I usually use Blink and I use Blazing Speed or whatever to like really get to where I need to go. So I was on this pirate ship and I blinked too fast and I blinked myself behind a ladder and I got trapped there. See, I didn't think that you could do that, but you can do that. And so the only way I could get out was to portal or to use the Hearthstone. But anyway, that's just a little story for you guys. Once again, really hope you enjoyed this video, and please help donate so that you can help expand this channel as well as feed this techie. Alrighty, I guess I'll see you all next time.